Hey, everybody. It is Kendéll, Lenice, and welcome to More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films. Now, this is our take on classic because it could be a classic like Claudine or Sparkle or Cooley High. That's considered a classic. It could be Boomerang. It could be Coming to America. It could be Love Jones, depending on your take on classic. Our take on classic, if it's on and you can't stop watching it, or you keep it on and you don't turn from it and you've seen it a million times, that's considered classic. That means you can't stop watching it and it's good to you for some reason. So that is a classic Black film.
Hey,
Today we
can
are.
can
What's
I
that?
add one more thing to what what
Uh-huh.
what classic is? If you know every line to the movie in the movie,
Ooh,
it's a
that's classic. And that's my classic co-host, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr.
classic.
If you got a line or a scene, today we are talking about baggage claim. And if you watched last week, you know what one of my favorite scenes is. Duh, it's with New Edition. So let's get started. So we are talking about the movie Baggage Claim, David E. Talbert's book. A book. Well, it was a book. And I read the book a couple of times. And I saw the movie a million times. So I read the book originally many years ago, and then when they decided in 2013, well before 2013, because this movie came out September 27th, 2013, but before this movie came out, there were talks about having it be a movie, right? So I was like, let me read the book because I hadn't read the book, I think, in 10 years. I got to see when the book came out. But I was like, let me read the book again so I'll be ready for the movie. So the movie came out. I mean, the book. Have you seen the book? Have you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book also, and that was what really, because I've read a couple of I think David Talbot had a couple of books,
You
um
sure
but
did.
yeah, but Baggage Claim was certainly one of the ones that I read. And books to me always seem, when they make books into movies, books go more in
Mhm.
depth. They're more
That's
descriptive
what I
though
was going
too.
to say.
You know.
That's what I was going to say. I'm trying to look to see when the book came out because the book, remember, it was way more detailed when it came
Yeah,
to the men and it
absolutely.
came to see like it was very entertaining. I'm trying to see when the book came out. It came out 2005.
Was it? Oh wow, I thought it was earlier than that. Okay, okay,
Yeah, I thought it
okay.
was earlier than that too. Wait, the
Yeah,
reprint. Let me see. The reprint came out. Let me see if there's another one. The
I was
reprint
thinking
might have
like in the
came.
'90s. I was thinking in the late
And I'm
'90s or
thinking
so.
and I'm thinking that too. Maybe this was a reprint because this cover even looks different.
Yeah,
It doesn't look
yeah,
like the
yeah.
regular cover. So that might be the reprint. Let me see when the original book came out because I didn't even think about that. Let's see. Baggage claim book. Let's see. Yeah, because these look like some different covers. I guess they
Yeah,
updated the cover.
probably.
So
Yeah, he
that
probably updated the
reprint
cover.
was, yeah. And you know that about you making books,
Yeah,
that
yeah, definitely. I
sometimes you
mean,
got to
yeah,
update it.
authors do that all the time. Where they'll just take a they'll upgrade a book, book cover, and that's really the only thing that's changed about the book, to
Yeah,
kind of reintroduce it to
right.
another audience.
So this is the one that I had. Let's see when this came out. Um, it doesn't say on this one what year it came out. Now it has me thinking about it because what year was that? Because 2005, if that one, oh 03. So oh 03.
Really? Okay.
So it came out
Mm.
oh 03. And then the reprint came out in '05 with a different cover. And it looks like it had a couple of
Okay.
covers. But remember, the original one was the lady carrying the bag. It was just the lady's
Yeah.
legs and then the
Right. With the
suitcase. And they had so many
correct.
variations of it. But yeah, so the book was good, like we said. Like the book went
Yeah.
into detail when it came to all of the men. My daughter said the book was better. It
Of
definitely
course. Yeah.
was,
Most times books are. Most times books. The book is
because
better
I had her reading the
than
book.
the movie. So I can
Yeah.
agree with that. So
Yeah, I had her
yeah.
reading the book. The book was juicy
This,
and it went into detail about the men. And you know how in the movie it just kind of mentioned several different ones and they only encountered a couple. But in the book,
right.
they went there with every single one. Why and why not? What happened? The detailed story. And that was good. But of course, in a 2-hour movie, they
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
get to everything. So I definitely like the book better. The only time I didn't like a book better is How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I
Really.
actually
Hmm.
like the movie better than the book. That's probably
Okay.
only one other time. But most of Terry McMillan's like Disappearing Acts and Waiting to Exhale and um, Day Late, Dollar Short, a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
I love the movie better, but I remember after watching How Stella Got Her Groove Back, I remember saying, I like the movie better, which was
Yeah. That
not
that one.
normally.
But she had an excellent cast for How Stella Got a Groove Back. Those
Yeah,
those ladies. Which Angela Bassett, Whoopi Goldberg, Regina King.
Gina
That's
King. Yeah, come on now.
that.
So
Yeah, that's
just
star
like
studded.
now, this David E. Talbot. For those that don't know, David E. Talbot started on, the Chitlin Circuit plays. Remember, he had all those plays before he even got
Yep.
into the movie business. He
Yeah.
had the
Movie and
stage
I think
Jar
books. Yeah, I think
Super
his
Hot.
plays will be for the books.
Yes, exactly. You remember Shelley Garrett back in the day. This was
Hmm.
all take David E. Talbot before Tyler Perry was doing it. Like he was all over the place before Jacarius Johnson was doing it. David E. Talbot was doing it. And then now, of course, he's a movie writer and a script writer, but he was doing his books, and his books were good. And he should be in the same vein as Elin Harris, Kimberly Lawson, um,
I'm
um,
telling you, her
Karen.
books need her books. They need to be made into a movie too.
Kimberly Lawson is my
Yeah,
favorite. When I
her.
first, I got a story, right, Leroy? You already know this show brings out the stories. I never talk about these stories, but when I was writing my first novel that came out in '05, Kimberly Lawson was my favorite, and I still love her.
Yeah.
I'm actually reading a book of hers now that came out
Are you?
last year, so I'm reading that now. But I got a chance. I wrote her, and I got a chance to meet her at her book signing. And I was
This is
asking if she had any advice because I was just writing a novel, and she was really friendly, really nice, a wealth of knowledge. She told me to send her my manuscript. She wanted to read it. If I had any questions, she would mentor me. She was like
mm,
phenomenal, like her personality
yeah.
phenomenal. So I love Kimberly Lawson Roby. And then since then, I have gone to other book signings in Baltimore, and my daughters went with me and all of that. But yes, Curtis Black, Curtis Black
Let me
needs
tell you, that needs to be a movie. Pastor Curtis
come
Black needs to be
come
made a movie. So anybody that's listening, y'all need to call her,
on.
call Kimmel, and let her know. Hey, we want to. How can we make Curtis Black into a character in a movie?
Man, that's a
No
series.
lie.
Like that can be a
Yeah,
movie, that can be
yeah,
a trilogy of movies, that could be a
yeah.
series, that could be
Absolutely.
like Curtis Black. And Kimberla said that she never meant for that to go that long, but every time she wrote about something else, people be like, "Well, what happened with Curtis Black?" She said she
Yeah,
just meant for it to be like one or
absolutely.
two books. It's like 11 or
Yeah,
something crazy
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Curtis,
she's like
Curtis,
a
Curtis Black.
Dude, Curtis Black is something else. This is why I rock with you, Leroy. This is why you my brother. We be here. We be here. Not a lot of people. And then you would think, oh yeah, men don't know about Kimberly and Curtis Black, but
Oh
you're
nah, she's and I guess because I mean I'm a writer as well, but she was one of those authors that I just
yeah,
respected her, Eric Jerome Dickey,
yeah.
what's the light skinned
Carl
dude?
Weber, Carl
No,
Weber.
no, Carl Weber, also Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
That's my boy right there. That
yeah.
man, his books need to be made into movies as well. What's no the light skinned brother that wrote
Oh, you
oh
talking
man,
about
the
that wrote
boss,
Fly Girl, Omar Tyree.
yeah, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
no, Omar Tyree, yeah, Omar
Yeah,
Tyree.
Omar Tyree out of
All
Philly
of those, all of I mean, these authors that we're talking about here, their books could be made into movies.
for
You know,
sure.
I truly
Fly
believe that
Girl was
you.
supposed to be a movie. I remember them years ago talking about Omar Tyree, and I still follow him on Instagram, and he still promotes
Okay.
Fly Girl. But I remember years ago when he talked about it being a movie. I don't know whatever happened to that.
Yeah, his movie, and I mean Travis Hunter. So you call yourself a man? It's
Mm,
just, I mean, it is
mm.
so many of their books, that need to be, that could be. I believe certain. You want to talk about having? This is what I'm talking about with Tyler Perry. You got a
Oh
studio,
Lord,
dude. All of these, I mean, these that could be made into movies. You got movies for days, for no, not days, for years
yeah,
that could be made. That could be
yeah,
made. I'm gonna tell you real quick because I know we got to get into this because we not. I don't want to. We want to make sure we finish on time.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if you've ever read any of Elin Harris's books, right?
I have.
And I lie to you not. The first one I read, and this is the thing that I respected about him so much. His writing, his writing skill. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell y'all what the book's all about. You gotta go figure that out for yourself. You gotta go you gotta go do that for yourself. But it wasn't about what the story was. It was about
Yeah,
how it was written. He was
yeah,
a I mean, he is one of the authors that I'm just like, he knows how to tell a story. And
yeah,
he gets you engaged, and he's very descriptive. He puts you right where where the story is going and all of that stuff. So,
yeah.
but I respect all of those,
And
that the ones that we just.
Mary Monroe was she was one of them.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
trying to think. It's so many. I got them all.
Yeah, it's a list of them that have written some excellent
Hmm.
novels,
Hmm.
and we truly believe, just like David E. Talbot, they could be made into movies, or should be
For
made into
sure.
movies.
For
They're
sure.
just that good,
And
you
it's
know.
not easy, I guess, for a lot of people to do that. I'm sure like they
Yeah.
would want that. Even my novel, like I could see it being a movie, and I'm not even
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
level as they are. So I can't even
Right. Right.
imagine. Like they really should. Like somebody really should. I know David E. Talbot did it. Terry McMillan did it. There are a
Right.
few.
Right.
And with Terry McMillan, we need to just do for real. We need to do a month for Terry McMillan.
We definitely,
For
yeah.
the movie.
Let's do that. Let's put that on the list. Let's
Yeah,
definitely put her on. She can have her own. What did we do a month? We could do a
yeah,
month of her. We
yeah.
even though we did which was one of my. It was a great movie, Disappearing Acts. Even though we've
We did
done
that. We
Disappearing
did
Acts.
Waiting to Exhale. I think we did.
Mhm.
Stella got it. Now that I think about it, we did.
Yeah, I
We
think we did. Yeah,
yeah,
we
now that I
have done
think
her
about it.
movies.
But Terry McMillan, you remember when that resurgence came of Black authors in the 80s, she was leading the pack. Like she
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
from that
She was definitely.
Harlem Renaissance time where everybody was, the writers of Harlem, that Harlem era when it all the who do I want to say? Not James Ellison. I want to say before Alice
Baldwin.
Walker, I wanted James Baldwin, but it was
Alice Walker. Cause
Alice Walker.
you had Alice Walker, you had I think James Baldwin.
Yeah.
Um, who was somebody? Even well, now Nikki
Lorraine
Giovanni.
Hansberry and all of that whole where
Yeah,
she did a Raisin in the Sun. but Terry McMillan kicked the door off the hinges.
Yeah, she
She
really
was
did. She
selling
really
books
did.
like rock stars. Like everybody's
Yeah,
rushing to get Beyonce tickets. Terry McMillan was selling
yeah,
books left and right. It was a
like that.
whole
Yeah,
resurgence of, oh, black people don't read. Let me show you this. I mean,
yeah.
people were, I mean, I remember going to book signings, I mean, in big venues, I mean, packed. You know,
Hmm.
people was talking about, have you read Waiting to Exhale? Have you read? I mean, it was water cooler
What
conversation
was
when it came to Terry
what,
McMillan.
what was her other? Was it Mama? Was that the name of
Did
the
Mama too? That was loosely
Was
about
it
her.
Mama? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
okay. Yeah.
I just read again. What's the name of the book that I just read? What was the name of the book? Oh, I just got finished reading it yesterday.
Really?
Let me see. And I had read it before, but this was a book that came out a couple of years ago. Let me see.
Uh-huh.
Um, I almost forgot about you. It's about a woman in her 50s just going through the transition in life and trying to figure it out and reflecting over her life. And she does something similar as baggage claim. And she goes back to all her beaux and all her former loves just to connect because she was an optometrist and a client or a customer came in, a patient came in and had the same name. It was the name Strawberry. And she was like, there's not that many strawberries around here. And then that what ends up being his daughter. So she was like, how is Ray? How is he doing? And she said he passed away. So it made
Mm.
her sad. So she went back to go, you know, look for her former beaux just to kind of forgive, make amends, find out why they broke up, and just kind of relive it in a sense. And she was transitioning into being a doctor to doing, she wanted to have something that felt good to her soul, and that didn't anymore. So she loved art and loved color and loved making furniture and pillows, and it just goes on her journey with her two adult daughters and her best friends and her mom. And it's good. Like I read that twice. I just got finished reading that yesterday, and then I started a Kimberly Lawson, but I can see that being a movie too. And then she had
Mm.
another one that I read a couple years ago. It's all downhill from here. Like she's people, and then she did the sequel to Waiting to Exhale. People don't even know that. You know, I know this is not about Terry McMillan, but people don't even know that she's still, you know, got to give her props because, honey, she was everywhere. All right, let's get to Baggage Claim. So Baggage Claim, it came out September 2013. David E. Talbert. The budget was 8.5
I was
million.
going to say, wait a minute, hold up.
The budget was 8.5 million and it made 22.5 million in the box office. So for those that have been living under a rock, this is a spoiler alert. We are going to spoil it because shame on you that you have not seen Baggage Claim, because we've seen it a million times and it's always on something. It's
But see,
always
yeah, here's the thing, Kendall, that I was thinking about, and I'm just like, because I think the movie we did last week was the same way with Jump in the Broom,
yeah,
and a couple others. That's a low budget,
yeah.
8.5, and I'm looking at the list of everybody that was in this movie.
Let's talk about it. Paula Patton, Lauren London, Jill Scott, Derek Luke,
You know that's
Adam
my wife,
Brody.
right? You know that's my wife, right?
Jill Scott. Yes, I know you
You
love
know that's
Jill.
my wife, right? I
You
was I was proud of her to be in this movie and everything like that. You know, she was
and
happy
I
when
bet
she.
you loved her in this movie with them girls up like this. I know you like Jill Scott in this movie because she was on fire in this movie. So then you got Tyler Lepley, which both my daughters think is so fine. Christina Milian. I mean, Tay Diggs. I mean, we could go on and on. Tay Diggs, Boris Kojo, Tia Mowry, Terrence J, Trey Songz.
Wait a minute, stop right there for a second. Hold up. Why was that when I was looking at you know how they give you the person's name and then their character name?
Uh-huh.
Why did Terrence J just say fiance?
It does. Terrence J didn't even have no. I didn't even realize Terrence J didn't even have no name in the
I
movie.
was like, what? What was that? I was
It
like,
does say
fiance?
that.
on,
It
y'all.
does say that. Even Trey Songz had Damon Diesel. And
Yeah.
yeah, it does
And
say he.
I actually like Trey Songz' name in the movie Damon Diesel. I was like, that's a strong name right there.
Then you got Jaimin Hansu, you got Tay
Yeah,
Diggs, Jennifer Lewis, Lala Anthony. Lala is making her round. She be on everything.
yeah.
Like
Lala
Lala
putting in that work.
everything.
She putting
Even
in
Rick
that work.
Miley in Rest in Paradise to his son who passed away. You got nephew Tommy,
Yeah,
Jasmine Simon, Afion Crockett. I mean, did I say I said Jennifer Lewis, right? You got
yeah,
even David E. Talbert's wife, Lynn Talbert.
yeah. I thought that was somebody who was related to him.
She was the one that was pregnant in the movie that came. Remember when we got to talk about Paula Patton is an excellent comedic actress with her body. Like she
Mm.
goes all in when it comes to putting her whole body into it. And when she remember when she was dating Boris Kojo and she thought it was the real thing, and she was talking to your girl Jill on the phone, and she said, "Get in the dumpster," and she was like, "Get in the trash can," and she was like, "I didn't know you were going to do it." So remember, she was peeking through the window, and
Right.
Boris Kojo was there, and the lady came pregnant. That was really David E. Talbert's wife, and she was really pregnant.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was like, and I just remember her from the stage plays because she was in all the stage plays too.
Oh okay. Okay.
I'm not sure if
Okay.
they met doing that, but she was in the stage plays a lot. But so many people were in this movie. So like you said, to have a budget of 8.5 and you got Jennifer Lewis alone.
I know. I was just like, wow. I was like, wow. They must have really got some small salaries with all these folks.
They must, maybe they did a cut, maybe they did it like once the movie starts making money, we'll come back around. Maybe they did
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah. I'm sure they had to do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like I
know.
can give you this now, but then, maybe later. So let's tell the people what it's about, just in case they've been under a rock. So this movie is, although now this is about a flight attendant, although she has traveled all over the world, flight attendant Montana Moore, which is played by Paula Patton, has yet to find a man with whom she wants to settle down. However, her sister's upcoming wedding and pressure from the often married mother force, her, which is Jennifer Lewis, uh, calculated that she has a month to find a fiance. Montana's best friend and fellow flight attendants conspire to help her re-encounter her exes as they travel across the country. But the right man may be closer than she thinks, which is Derek Luke, is her friend from childhood who's played by William. I mean, his name is William Wright, and he's with Christina Milian, and they talk about, he's there to rescue her and to help her and everything. And she tells him this plan, and he's looking like, what? Like, do you care about love? He talks about the story of his parents' love, and he really believes in love, but he sees the woman he loves trying to chase love. What you got to say? What you got, Leroy?
No, I think yeah, it always seems, and ladies, I'm gonna tell y'all, y'all keep putting these brothers in the friend zone, and they right there in front of you, and you turn around, and this is that dude that that you, and I've been there, so I can talk about it, where
Uh-uh.
they oh, you such a great friend, and y'all doing everything, but being the name boyfriend and girlfriend, hanging out with them like Montana did. She was hanging out with them. Didn't they live across from each other
Yep, in
in
the same building in
yeah,
Baltimore. So the movie was
yeah,
supposed
yeah, it was, yeah, it was
to,
filmed here in Baltimore.
shout out to
Yeah, yeah.
Baltimore.
Yep. Baltimore's actually been in quite a few movies.
Yeah.
Whether
Even though
people want to believe it or not. It
for
was a
40
big it's a big Hollywood or movie filming area. This area here, it really is. And you look back, it's been several. Chris Rock did his movie here
yeah.
in Baltimore. I think it was the one where he was the where he
You
became
know
he
that's
ran for
my
president.
movie.
Yeah,
You know
that's my movie
my
too.
movie. Gotta say that's my movie. That
Yeah,
movie,
that is
laugh.
hilarious. That is hilarious, man.
Remember we did that one because we both were saying that that was our favorite, and a lot of people don't
Yeah,
even know about that movie. That movie makes me.
yeah, yeah. That was
But
a quiet one,
there was one part in
but
Baggage
yeah,
Claim I was like, when they were like, oh, it's I forgot what they said, the distance between Baltimore and DC. I was like, oh, they got that messed up. They was like 20
yeah,
minutes, or they would say, I was like, oh, they messed up. They messed up because it don't take.
yeah. Nah, it ain't that close. but yeah, but her relationship with William, Derek Luke's character, it just goes to show you, that you have these friendships, that you develop, and you go through, and that was one of the things that you sit back and, oh, I know, I sat back and look, you go through all of these troubles and trials and whatever with these other dudes. You're willing to go through all of that, with these other dudes, and you got this dude that you know is a good dude. He's somebody that's going to treat you, it's going to treat you right, and all of those things. But the first person that she should have considered or thought about wasn't her exes or the dudes that she was trying to figure out who could be,
Yeah.
was him from the beginning. But wouldn't have been a movie then. So,
Now
but
let me say something from a woman's point of view.
yeah,
Sometimes you have the male friends, but sometimes they may not be attractive. So what if you don't have that type of chemistry? Like they're everything that you want, but maybe not attractive, or maybe no, I won't say they're not attractive. You're not attracted to them
hmm
because
hmm
they could be very much attractive, and Derek Luke was very attractive.
hmm
Very. But sometimes they ain't no Derek Luke.
No, I get that. I get that. There certainly has to be there has to be chemistry there.
Yeah,
Let's be real. The
yeah,
first thing that we do is that we are attracted to
yeah,
is someone physical. That's just what it is. That's real.
yeah.
But here's my question to you: is when you talk about that, and I get that you may not be attractive to the guy or attracted to the guy, but how do you do everything that you would be doing with someone that you are attracted to,
Mhm.
with this person that you say you're not attracted to?
I guess because people don't realize that you should be friends first, maybe
hmm hmm
because they were friends
Right? Yeah,
and
because
they
they had
know.
known each other since high school.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can know somebody so long that you
hmm
don't see that until you actually see them. Because a lot of people
hmm
have that story where they were right in front of their face and they didn't know that that was the love of their life. So,
hmm
and then
hmm
he was kind of, and then he had girlfriends and stuff. So he wasn't like single pining over her, but you can tell
Right,
that he cared for her because she was, he was her go to guy when
right.
she was
Exit,
late at
which,
night. And
which
yeah,
a lot of times, that's what happens with the dude that's in the friend zone. He's that,
yeah,
I feel comfortable with him.
he's the reliable one.
Right.
And
Yeah.
clearly they showed in the glove compartment that she was always in the car because she left everything. That was cute. He just threw it right in there. And he
Right.
was the parable or the saying that his father, how his father and mother were, and kind of relaying it to the old truck. And she wanted something shiny and new, or she had an
Yeah.
idea
Right.
of what it was supposed to be. She knew
Right.
she didn't want to be like her mom, but then that was deep what her mom was talking about. Like she had a love that passed away, so she was trying to search for that same type of love and
hmm
that importance. And then you have your little sister getting married, and then in a lot of families they do. So when you gonna get married, your baby sister's
Right.
getting married, all lady, your eggs are drying up. What's going on? And that pressure a lot of women have to get
Yeah.
married, even if they don't want. Like I would never put that pressure on my daughters or anyone
Yeah.
because but back then they did, and a lot of people do. Like, hey, this one's getting married, and then people marrying any old body to shut people up or to say, you know what, I don't want to be an old maid. I don't want to, be alone in this world. So let me go do it. And they're just picking any old body.
Do you think that that's why some men and some women settle
Yes.
because of that pressure that they
Yes.
get
And
from
then,
family
yeah,
and friends?
especially if they're trying to have stuff, women trying to have babies.
Mhm.
or they don't their friends are passing them by and they're getting married or they have someone, then yeah, sometimes it is a rush. But I don't think this generation now is rushing. I don't think
No,
they're
not at
rushing
all.
marriage.
That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing
Yeah,
about that we can say about that this generation is
yeah,
they are waiting. Some of them like I ain't trying to get married. I don't,
right,
but they are willing to wait
yeah,
longer now and not getting, jumping and getting married
yeah,
in their 20s or even in their 30s. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
They're
So
taking
so
their
that's
time. They're not following suit to what so-called traditions are. By this
yeah,
age, you have to do this. By this age, they're
yeah,
really like, I admire a lot of the younger
yeah,
the younger group because they're doing it their way, you know.
yeah,
But she was still
yeah.
in that mindset. Well, her mom, let me get somebody because I don't want to hear my mother's mouth because she's gonna be talking
Mhm.
about your little sister's getting married. What about you, Montana? So she went on this hunt. Tay Diggs was the funniest of them all, though.
I know, wasn't it? Yeah, him
Funniest,
and Tia
he's the
Mowry,
fool.
that was hilarious.
Yeah, Tay Diggs, and then Trey Songz, where he was like, "She
Oh,
crazy,
I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking about Trace. I was thinking about
she
Trace song,
crazy,
but
she
yeah, Tay
crazy."
Diggs was hilarious.
And the
Especially
Tia,
with the little dog. With the,
man, or when they were with Ned Beatty at the table, and she was there, and he was trying to he was running for when he was before he was talking about running for office, and he was
yeah,
there. And she said, "I could tell he's black because he drive a Escalade. His daddy name is Earl." Oh man, that was so funny. And she was so
yeah,
light. He was all playing the uptight and with the dog. Man, had the outfit ready. So at first it seemed like she was like, because that's how it always is. When if you go back in time or you reminisce about an ex, it's always shiny and perfect in your head until you get with him again or talk to him again. You be like, oh, that's why I
that's why
knew
now I
why we
remember.
ain't together.
Yeah, and even the and I guess each of the men that she was dating, Trey Songz, Tay Diggs, but even Damon Honsu,
Yeah,
and his character because
yeah.
he was the dude that had all the money.
Mm-hmm.
He had the money, he had the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted her to go with what did he wanted her to run away with him, not run
And
away
drop
with him, but
everything that she wanted to do in him and basically, yeah, move. And but he
right
didn't want to, he wanted to marry her, but he wanted to do it kind of on his terms.
on his terms,
Like
right, right,
he gave
right,
her the ring, but he ain't gonna be there. It's not gonna
right,
be what you think. It's gonna be,
right.
and she thought, and that's what happens. People think that they want this type of thing until it's presented in front of you, and then all of these terms of this contract. And he was like, if you think I'm just gonna be like pretty much, I think he was like monogamous, so you think I'm just gonna be, it's not that type of thing, but I will commit to you. I think he didn't want to
Right.
get married. Like, I commit to you, I'll give you, what you want pretty much. I'll take care of you, but I don't want all that traditional stuff.
And see and that goes to and he was probably what you want to say the is it polyamorous or
Oh yeah. Yeah.
lifestyle where he
Yeah.
was like, okay, yeah, you're gonna be one of a few women that I'm dating or seeing and taking care of,
Yeah.
and that's something that, like you said, a lot of women think that that's, oh well, as long as I'm being taken care of,
Yeah.
but you got to think of that there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
There's a other side to that where,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, you may have all the money that you want, you may have
Yeah.
a big house and all those other
And that
things,
big
but
old
like you,
ring that he presented her.
yeah, but like you were talking about, he wasn't going to be there, so
No.
you weren't going to see him.
Mm-mm.
He wasn't coming
He
home to
didn't want
you.
traditional, right?
Yeah, he wasn't coming home to you every night. He was, whether it was his job or whether it was someone
Mm-hmm.
else that you
Mm-hmm.
were going to have to be sharing him with. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see Montana. She was like that. She didn't want that. She was
Yeah.
like, she didn't want that.
But
So
your girl
you
said she would take him. Jill
you
Scott.
know, yeah, Yep. Jill was like, "Where you at?"
Looked at, she said, "Oh, so you mean that's him?" When she looked out the window, and she was like, "Oh, you meant for real, like that is him." And he was there giving her everything that she ever wanted, except the type
Yeah,
of love and commitment she
commitment
wanted.
that she wanted. Right. You know.
Like,
So,
you know,
but
and
those are definitely things that you got to think about when you think about these relationships. And it was funny how each. I mean, even Trey Songz, his character too, with
so let's talk
the
about
great
that. Let's talk about
with the crazy
crazy. She crazy.
girlfriend Tia Mowry.
So let's talk about that. So he was Mike Jones back then. You
Didn't
didn't
know.
want me, right? He didn't have anything back then. He was struggling trying to get up, And then when she meets him again mysteriously on the plane, so what happens in the movie is her friends, who are the flight attendants, Adam Brody and Jill Scott's character, they come up with a plan to have everyone involved. Ricky Smiley, Afion Crockett, they have all of them set up.
Nephew Tommy, all of
Set up in
Lala.
they all work. La la, she was looking at Jimmy Choo's shoes on the screen. So they pretended. So what they did is said, because she was like, they came up with the plan like you need to find your exes, and she had to find them in a certain amount of time, to be 30 days to be able to come to the wedding with her as her man. She was really looking for love. So what they all did together is find the flights of the people. They had the ticket agent, they had the TSA agent, they had everybody, the baggage handlers, they had everybody in place to make sure that they connected spontaneously. So all the guys that she was looking for, none of them knew what was happening, but they all knew. So just the whole shenanigan and foolery of it all, her running through the airport, like she's not afraid to look goofy, use her body. She was climbing through stuff and running all over the place and all of that. But even in the book, they made her makeover looked way different. They barely did anything in the movie, but the makeover in the book, when they made her over and got her together, she looked like a totally different person. This, they just didn't, they didn't go as far. So she spontaneously bumped into her exes on the plane. So when she bumps into Trey's song, he like Montana Moore. And he's thinking, it's spontaneous. So then she says, he looks like he's been upgraded, not in the plane, not in the seat, but like he was talking about, he had his career together in the music industry. All of this comes, treats her to dinner, pulls out his cards, because when she was with him, she was doing everything. And brings her back to the place in this dope apartment. And she's like, okay. And come to find out, his woman is paying for everything. And then he's like, she crazy. And then she knocks on the door. She's like, Montana's like, well, what you mean? This is all yours. He was like, no, it's hers. She's like, what about this? It's hers. What about this? It's hers. And she's crazy. And Tia was like, open, open, open at the door. So she like, that ain't gonna work. What you guys think?
No, that was probably one of the funniest parts though. Was she crazy?
She
Told you she crazy.
crazy. I told you, because he looked like
But
he was balling. Now, how many people pretend to be balling to try to get a
yeah,
girl? They really ain't getting
exactly. Truly, misrepresenting, yourself and themselves. So each of the guys had their, like you said, each of the guys that she had gone back to had flaws
Let's talk
that
about Boris.
like you were saying. I think she remembered why they were
Right,
exes.
right. And that's what you do, because in your mind, it's all romanticized. So now Boris Kojo was the only one that wasn't one of her exes. She thought that this was going to be her man. They was going to spend Thanksgiving together. They were on the boat listening to Usher. It was all pretty and everything. And then they had like a long distance relationship, because she meets people in the airport or goes to different cities because she's a flight attendant. And that's what prompted when she found out that the guy that she was seeing long distance was really married. So that wasn't going to work. So she was trying to find. So then let's talk about, who should we talk about? Tay Diggs' character. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
some more.
Well, I mean, but he was that. that that
Lenice.
uppity person that he was a politician, so he wanted to have a certain image. He wanted to have a certain woman on his arm. She had to speak a certain way. She had to talk a certain way. She had to know how to conduct herself appropriately in certain settings and everything like that. And she she was, I think what did it for her was the dog. What was the dog's name? Because he used to always say,
I know
tell
he's
her
trying to
something.
think of the dog. What
He
was
said
the dog
something go.
name there?
He
Mitzi?
would say,
Was it? What was it?
yeah, it
I
was
was trying
something
to
like that.
think.
But he would
I
always
was
tell
gonna
her to
say
go.
Sick Dottie, that's coming to America.
Yeah, he would
Juicy.
say,
My daughter just said juicy. It was juicy.
"Oh, juice." That's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah, he say, "Juicy, go pee," and the little dog go running off.
she was sick of juicy. Like juice, but Tay Diggs was so funny in that movie and not trying to be well, he's trying to be comical, but it wasn't like a
Right.
supposed to be like this is insert humor here. He's just a fool anyway. And she's
Yeah.
looking at him, and the way that they played together was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. That was really good. That was
Even
definitely good.
when he came to the sisters' engagement party.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
vote for me. And she was like, I don't trust no black Republican. And then what about her mom? She's like, Mom, you want to marry me off to somebody you don't even know? Like just
Yeah.
to say I'm married? Like I don't want him. He
But
was
see
lame.
that. But that's an important. That was an important part of the movie because I truly believe that is so true when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to some mothers. They do pressure their daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, even think about the movie we talked about, Waiting to Exhale. Savannah, he's a good
He's a good
man.
man,
He
Savannah.
he just trying to do right, and he's trying to this and trying to that. They overlook the serious
The big
flaws
flaws.
for what they believe is the financial security aspect of it. That's
Yeah.
what they
And
that's what
not
I
to be
believe.
alone. Like it's
Yeah,
better to have a man than the right man or no man at all.
right, right, right. Right, which I
Not to
wouldn't I
make the
wouldn't
mothers be living
say that for
vicariously through
anyone,
them.
for a man or woman,
No,
not settling.
no.
If it's somebody that you can't see yourself with for the rest of your life, don't be miserable, man. Don't
But
be
I think
miserable. I
the
was listening
mothers
to
put it on them, though. I think the mothers be wanting
yeah,
it for themselves, and if they
yeah,
feel lonely or abandoned or by themselves,
right,
then they don't want their daughters
right,
to feel like that. So they kind of push it on them,
yeah.
not to live vicariously through them, but for so they don't feel what
No,
they put
I
their
think it is,
emotions
but
feelings on them.
yeah, I mean, but think about it. Think about the movie The Brothers. Jennifer
Mhm.
Lewis again. She played the
Jennifer
mom
Lewis.
of. Oh, yeah, I know, right? She played the mom of Morris Chestnut in the
Hmm.
movie, and when she was having that conversation with him, and she was like, I'm throwing parties just to not be alone,
Hmm.
so I don't have to be by myself,
That's deep.
and you get yeah, and you have that aspect, and so when they have a daughter and they think, well, just it'll be all right, it'll be okay, you know but I understand it, when that women do want security,
Yeah.
and I mean, men, we want security too, but at the same time, you gotta weigh those costs.
Yeah.
I really believe you gotta weigh the cost. Does security trump you being happy? Does
Yeah.
security trump you
Yeah.
know you being you not having someone there where
Right.
that person they give you all the money in the world, but they not there.
Right. And I
They,
think
they,
back in the day, that 30-year-old where she was like a
mhm,
huge benchmark.
mhm,
Like
right,
everything was supposed to happen by the time you
yeah.
turn 30. And I don't
Yeah.
think that they're younger people are not accepting that anymore.
No, you think so? Because
Married first time at
I'm
40
thinking that
something.
they
People are having babies
really,
at 40 something for the first time.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
that aspect of it, yeah. But I was thinking in respect to they were thinking that if you're not married by 30, then you're definitely gonna spend the rest of your. So I've heard some of them, they actually think that, but you'll spend the rest of your life alone if you ain't married by 30 or
Yeah, that's
35.
what
If
I'm
you listen
saying.
to,
They have this benchmark of 30, and 30 is so young. My
yeah, that's
daughter's
still
about
young.
to be 30. That sounds crazy, me even saying it, but it's
Yeah,
still
I
so
mean,
young.
it would be. I mean, that's nice if you're able to be married at 30.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember listening
But I was
to
married
Dr.
at
Francis.
20, which was young. I was married
Yeah,
at 20
that's what
years
they.
old.
Yeah,
20.
yeah,
Had my daughter
and
at
I.
22.
Mhm.
So think about that. And think about how much life there still was until 30.
Yeah,
That was
I
10
mean,
years.
I mean, here's the thing. I do think, if you're if you are able, if you find that person, to get
Mm-hmm.
married, by the time you're 25 and you have a couple of years to be able to spend with each other, because that was my plan, be married a couple of years and then we have kids by the time by the time I was, 30, 35. You know what I'm saying?
So
Because
how
I
is that
remember,
for me? I'm glad you're bringing this up
yeah, yeah. I
because
mean,
men feel
it's a
different too.
well, I mean, there's some of us. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've always wanted since I was a teenager, man. I've only wanted one woman to be able to grow, get to know, get married, and grow old with. I've wanted that my whole life. I lied to
Mm,
you not. I wanted that
mm,
my whole life because I didn't like having to have to be dating different women and getting to know this person and that not working out and then getting to know this person and having to do it all, having to do that cycle all over again. But I just remember I did. I would have I would have been I would oh, seriously I would have been married 20 years old if it were up to me,
So how do
and
you
be.
feel? So how does and this is I'm glad you're sharing this. So how does it
Mhm.
feel that like it didn't happen for you, especially like the times in, with kids or marriage yet? Like how does that work with men? Because I applaud you for even talking about it because most of the time you
Mhm.
just hear women talking about it.
No, I mean, I know I think about it. I've thought about it, and here's the thing. You and I both know this. We don't control our destiny. God
Mm,
does. So it's always been my thing. Yeah, I've wanted it, but
well,
the women that I've dated haven't turned out to be that one, and I would rather not. Be in be in a marriage because there were a couple of proposals, but they never came. I mean, it
mhm.
never came to fruition.
Yeah,
So, I'd say, hey, I'm glad it didn't come to fruition, but you
yeah,
know, but those are things that you don't necessarily. I've come to realize that I don't have control over, and I
yeah,
didn't want to just be with somebody just for the sake of being with somebody because that's
yeah,
that's misery. That's
yeah.
miserable.
Well,
You waking
Shamar
up and
Morgan had his first baby at 52. As a guy, he never thought, and he did. So you definitely could still have a baby.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. You got who was it? Was it Michael Douglas? That had
Oh,
a baby at 60 something,
a lot
70
of the
something.
guys, all you got to do is get a your woman, make sure she's still fertile.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
So,
But I'm glad
so
that
I
you brought
mean,
that up. So do
yeah.
men have the same pressure, you think, as the women do, like Montana's mom?
Um, I'll personalize it. I've been asked, well, why ain't you married yet? It hasn't been like it's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, look, it ain't me.
Mhm.
It's not me.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I would have, I would have been married. you know, and all of those things. But there were things that I was just like, okay, it's just not working out, and you get, you learn and you get upset about it or whatever. But I've learned that there are certain things that you just can't, you have no control over, or you have control of them to a certain extent where you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you wind up, unhappy, in a
Yeah.
situation where you waking up next to the person, like we talked about during the pandemic, talk about, you know what, I really don't like you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
And I've
saying?
had my fill of marriage. I've already done it. more than once. I'm good. My fill is there. My cup is runneth over when it comes to that. That's it. That's all. That's it.
You
That's
know,
all.
so yeah, I think that, and I do think that there is some pressure on, on guys. Mothers do the same thing to their, to their sons. When you gonna give me some grandbabies? You know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, because you don't think about it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're
yeah.
talking about this because most of the time, like in the
Hmm.
movies and different things like that. Because think about the movie we did last week. We did Jump in the Broom, where she didn't want her
Yeah,
son to even have somebody.
right,
She didn't even want her
right,
to date, have kids. Like, you my
right.
baby, baby syndrome. So and then you have this flip side where she had really once Jennifer Lewis, the mom had Montana's mom had the conversation when she was like, "You
Right.
just want me to marry anybody." When Jay Diggs came over there, he was like, "And vote for me for this." Like he was so funny in this movie. So then William comes in, and William's thinking that she got the proposal because he sees Tay Diggs Langston there. So he leaves. I was like, why did he just stay? So he's thinking like he wanted to confess his love for Montana, his childhood friend. But when he heard
Tay
Langston
Diggs.
propose, he automatically assumed that she
Right,
was going to say
right,
yes because he knew that she was thirsty and pressed
right.
to get a guy in 30 days before this wedding. And he thought she
Yeah,
was so hopelessly, romantical that she was going to say yes. So he left. So then Montana and her mom have the conversation, Catherine have the conversation outside. And she's like, look, mom, you just want to marry me off to anyone. I don't want to marry him. You don't know him. And then she begins to explain and talk about her father and how he loved her and how he had breakfast in bed for her and how he cared for her and how, she has never had a man to love her like that before. And when he passed away, like part of her passed away. So then her other marriages were like kind of searching for that same thing. So
yeah,
she
yeah,
then, and that's why it's so important. Iyanla says this all the time. I say this all the time. I've heard people for women to share their woman story with their daughters. Like it's so important so you can understand them not just as your mom, but as another woman. And
yeah,
she's saying, I don't want you to feel alone and be alone like this, or I want you to have that. So then she understands Montana understands that there's nothing wrong with her, that she's not married, because at first she's thinking there's something wrong with me because my mom keeps pressing me to get
yeah,
married. Then and she basically tells her to just follow her, and she's proud of her and how she's handling it. So for the first time, Montana understands her mom, and she understands that nothing's wrong with her. So then, of course, she sees Diamond and, all of that. So while we talked about where she saw him downstairs and she got the big ring and, all of this, and she talks to Quentin, and he's basically saying, yes, I'll be there and I'll be with you, but I don't want pretty much what you want. And she could choose it because he's given her the world, but it's still not what moves her heart and soul. So while she's sitting in the house bummed out, she notices, you want to talk about the Cracker Jack
no,
box?
good. Yeah, the Cracker Jack
Right.
box, right?
So
No,
she noticed, you want to take it from there? Or you want me to keep going? It's up to
go
you.
ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
So she has the Cracker Jack box, and it was one of the gifts. And they're like, well, what is this? Opens up the Cracker Jack box. It's a ring in there and a ticket to Paris because she was telling him when he was with his girlfriend, oh, I would have preferred to go to Paris. So William's girlfriend, who is Christina Million's character, what's her name?
Taylor.
Taylor.
It's
So
Taylor. Hmm.
Taylor cheats on him, and she sees it, and then she lies and scams and turns off the phone and all of that. So they kind of get into a little tiff, and she says that she knows she's cheating on her, and and he says his choice words, and then they kind of stop talking, or there's kind of a little friction between their friendship. And she notices that, but her friends like, well, who gave this and the ticket? And they're like, well, what is the time on the ticket? When is the time to leave? And find out it's pretty much now. So then she goes running, trying to get to the airport, and they're looking at her, and Jill Scott's still looking at Quentin because she's like, want him. So then they try to speed so she can have that conversation with William. But let's talk about the new edition part. That's my favorite part. So he picks her up one of the many times that he rescues her. William rescues Montana. One of the many times that she calls on him because he's the most reliable person in her life. She's in the truck. So they play out this scene where they're dancing to New Edition and they're doing all the steps that you do to New Edition. And we realize we're the audience is hoping that this is real. Yes, he's cute. He's right there. He likes you. But then it's a dream. She falls asleep in the truck. So that's not real. But just that whole little scene is so cute. When that New Edition, that beat starts coming on. Yes, and so of course that's one of my favorite parts every single time, and that's the kind of man you want that you can have fun with. He likes New Edition. I mean, come on.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's the part that I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the part that I've never, in all these years, I'll be honest with you, Kendéll, I've never understood that. Here's the dude that you enjoy doing everything with. You tell him he knows stuff about you that don't nobody else know. Don't nobody else know. He is, like you said, reliable. He came and picked her up in the storm. It was like, what, Montana? Get off the phone. Don't, get off the phone. No, I'm not doing it.
When he hung up on her, remember when he hung up on her? She thought it was a mistake, and this did like she was. He's like, no, it wasn't a mistake. No. He said, I hung up.
But that's what we were talking about.
Friends, Derek Luke. Most of our friends don't look like Derek Luke.
I'm just saying, I get that. I get that. It's that part is a movie, you know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is you have so much fun with this with this one person. And I truly believe that part of the relationship would not change if you were to be together. You already spending most of your time with them anyway. And I've never been able to understand it. I've even asked the question and haven't gotten an answer to it.
It's true.
I
think so because sometimes people put them in the friend zone so quick. Maybe she put him in there too fast, or maybe because she's known. Well,
they don't each other since high school. Maybe so that one wasn't quick.
But maybe he never voiced being traditional. He never voiced that he liked her, or if he did, that was so long ago that they just morphed into the friends. And then once you become great friends, you don't want to ruin it oftentimes in a romantic relationship. So maybe that was it, or maybe they didn't think about it.
But let me ask you. Let me ask you.
Always think about it.
No, let me ask you this, because you said that you don't want to ruin the friendship because you're worried about if you and I firmly remember there was this girl that I was trying to date back in the day, and it was that thing, friend zone, whole thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. You're getting involved with these other dudes, want to talk to me about these other dudes. You're going through all of that drama with them, worrying about them cheating or doing this or doing that. But here's somebody that is showing you that they're trustworthy, they're reliable, they're there for you. You have a great time. It's like you're doing everything that a couple would do, but say that you're a couple, and that's the part that I didn't understand about it.
Some of them even do.
Right. But then you really get into that becomes a whole nother situation when you add that component to it, because we doing all this
But you got Jerome picking you up, taking you to Roscoe's tomorrow. But I didn't gave you this nice red lobsters and you ain't trying to be with me, because I think sometimes people, I don't know what it is. I think because they don't want to ruin friendships, because they don't want it to go there, or maybe no one spoke up and they didn't realize their feelings, or I don't know what it is. Or sometimes they just don't even pay attention or realize that that person could be right in front of you. They
Yeah.
may not even
Yeah.
be thinking, because they're already on a different lane in different kind of train. They're already just
Right.
doing their thing, and they don't stop long enough to be like, But although let's talk Flex and Shanice, they've been married 20 plus years, I think like 25 years almost now. But actor, dancer, he started off dancing Flex 101, and
Mm-hmm.
Shanice and I Love Your Smile, for those that don't know.
I know.
Um,
Right?
they were friends, and they lived in the same apartment building, and they would be having movie nights. They would be doing stuff together, spending time all the time, and having a good time. And one day she was talking about all this man, the kind of man, she had just broken up with somebody, I think, and they were friends for a long time. And she kept talking about the kind of man she wants and all of that. He was like, "That's me." He was like, "I could be that man." And he shot his shot, and they've been married 25 years or something like that. And he said
Yeah.
that they were friends. And then she looked at him different, like, well, dang, he is kind of cute. See, but most of the time, your friend might not be who you think. They ain't no Flex. They're not a Flex or a Derek Lou. But that's what happened with, so almost like the same thing. I wonder how they felt about the movie, because let's see. So they got married. Married 23 years.
Wow.
3 years. Because I was going to say, is
Yeah.
it 22, 23? They've been married 23 years, and that's how, and they said that they did everything together.
Yeah.
They would just always, he would be talking about his dates and she would be talking about hers, and they were genuinely friends until he was like on Brown Sugar, "I don't want to be your friend no more." Remember when Tay did so nah, he was like, "I don't want to be your friend no more." Dre was like, Sydney
Yep.
Shaw, I'm trying to be more than that. And that's the
Yep.
same thing. I think somebody comes to the revelation, like, maybe so. So
Yeah.
ends up getting her proposal. He has a Cracker Jack ring, but she didn't know that even to the engagement party, he was bringing that little box that wasn't a Cracker Jack box. And he proposed
Mm-hmm.
right there in the hotel. I mean, in the airport.
Yep. Yep.
Now, what do you think? Do you think it should be a part 2 of Baggage Claim? It should.
No.
I think it would be good to see those two
Leave.
together.
You ever see certain movies? They just don't. You really. Where could you go with the story? That's just
You
like
can
with
have
the
a
best
whole different
man.
story. You can have a
Yeah,
whole
but I
different
just.
story with him and her
And I
together.
mean, it's just like with the best man. I thought they should have left that alone. You
Mm-mm.
know, that
Mm-mm.
movie itself was. I thought, yeah, that one. Yeah, I just. I mean, I get it. They brought it what 25 years later, something like that, or whatever. But
And the
I
final
just thought
chapter
that. Then,
off the chain.
yeah,
It's
I thought that was, that was one of those movies that was, that was good. It was perfect.
yeah,
The best man. It was perfect.
yeah,
Baggage claim. That's a good story. It doesn't have, like we were talking about earlier, Terry McMillan, where they were, or Kimberly Lawson, where you have the series,
yeah,
that you, because it's left hanging,
yeah,
because there is more to the character than that.
yeah.
To me, there's not more to Montana. I
So
mean,
let's
do
think.
do people really want to see her married?
Let's
She's
think.
already gone through the 30 days. A sister's married, gotten married now.
No,
So
she didn't.
what
Remember,
do
she didn't
you?
get married. Remember the sister.
Oh,
Now
that's
let's
right.
talk
No,
about
she
that.
didn't. Yeah,
Remember
they
the
did. Yeah,
sister
they didn't want to get
didn't
married.
get
Right,
married.
right.
It was the
But
pressure from the mom, even for her.
yeah, yeah,
So let's
yeah,
say, let's
and
look at it like this. I never thought about a sequel for Baggage Claim. So let's look at it like this. David E. Talbert is a talented writer, been doing it 30 something years, right? So just to have, it could be a part two baggage claim, but it would have to be something called something else, because I would love to see Paula Patton and Derek Luke create something else. Like, it can't be the baggage claim with that, but let's see where they are now, like an epilogue of a book. What are they
Mm-hmm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
now? Maybe, maybe something, maybe not even baggage claim two, maybe something written for those two, because I thought the chemistry was good. Or even
Yeah.
Paula Patton and Taye Diggs outside
Yeah.
of baggage claim. I think that they would, because both of them are goofy in a unorthodox way. They're
Right.
both
Right.
goofy in a good way that makes it work. All right, what's your final words on the baggage claim? I think it's
No,
a great.
I loved it. I love the fact that David E. Talbot took one of his books, successful books, and it was a great story. It was a great
Mm-hmm,
story. It was a funny story. You know what I'm saying? Very
mm-hmm.
funny story, and it had those life elements like we've talked about tonight
I'll be right back.
to
You
them.
can keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking.
No, but it had those life elements to it where she was dealing with the pressure from her mom, her sister getting married. Now all of a sudden she's seen as okay, always a bridesmaid, never a bride, all of those different aspects of it, and then her dating life, which which goes to show you we didn't even get to talk about this, was what her dating life looked like. Was that a reflection of the men that she was saying, that the man that she said she wanted to marry? And if she looks at her dating life, and I'm gonna ask Kendéll when she get back, y'all, I'm gonna ask her about that. you know do if you were to ask, most women, oh, there she is. If you were to ask most women, were the about who they've dated, and I know we got to go on this because you got to go, but you know, Paula Patton's the character of Montana. Do you think that the her dating life, i.e., the men that she had dated,
Mm-hmm.
was reflected the man that she said she wanted to marry?
Oh, you always ask that question.
I
That's
know,
good.
Donna. Yep.
That's good. You always ask that question. Um, I don't think she knew what she wanted. So sometimes when women date, they date to figure out what they don't want and then narrow it down in reverse.
Okay.
Because sometimes a lot of people, women don't even know themselves yet, so they don't know. But it's easier to identify what they don't want than what they want.
Yeah, but
And even looking
well,
at this,
do
it's
but
like
then
you got 30 days and 30,000 miles to find a husband, not even to find a boyfriend, not even to find someone to date, but 30 days to find a husband because of the pressure that people have. Think about that though. That's deep in itself.
right.
And
I
so many
mean,
people are rushing to get married.
but I think we would save ourselves so much heartache, bitterness, and everything else that comes with the bad choices in relationships if
Mm-hmm.
we were to be honest and
Mm-hmm.
to say, hey, I know going in, this is what I'm looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and if I ask the right questions, and if I am um, being in tune to what it is that I want, I'll be able to identify whether or not that person is before we even go, get serious, or because you got to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
It's not like you know somebody,
Yeah.
right away. Um,
Yeah.
but you already have, and see, this is my thing. You already have in your mind. You already know what it is that you want. Okay, I
Yeah.
want him to, and I'm looking at the characteristics, y'all. I'm not looking at the physical traits.
Yeah.
Okay, like a lot of women, and Kendall, I'm about to get on my soapbox with this, that he got to be over 6 feet tall. So you done knocked out most guys when if he not 6 feet tall.
Because
Okay,
look,
so
Marsh Chestnut ain't 6 feet tall. Taye Diggs ain't 6 feet tall. Omar Epps ain't 6 feet tall. But I
Jermaine
guarantee you, the
Dupri
boy,
ain't 6 feet
well,
tall.
Jermaine Dupri, he got Janet Jackson at 5'3".
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So
And
I
Kirk
think
Franklin ain't Kirk Franklin. Oh,
Kirk
here's
Franklin,
one for you.
his
Prince,
wife is little like
Prince,
him. Look at it. Look at you ripping Paula's shirt.
Prince the same height as me. He ain't nowhere near 6 feet tall.
I love that you repping
Nowhere.
for the short guys. I am not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, Leroy. You better represent. Shoot, man. It's a lot of most leading men that women like on screen are under 6 feet tall.
Yeah, but
They
I
like
mean, but the
five,
thing is,
5'9", some
and
5'10".
the first thing that a lot of women will say, well, you got to be physically attracted to him. I get that. I get that. That's with any of us. Someone has to be attractive, and but
And
when the
attraction
rubber meets the road,
everything. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But when the rubber meets the road, you know, what is his character like?
Yeah,
Me and one of my businesses, we talk about it all the time. What's his character like? Because you could have somebody that's over 6 feet tall, but his character is trash.
yeah.
You could have somebody that's over 6 feet tall. He got all kinds of money, but like Savannah found out, I mean Montana found out, he ain't spending no time with you.
Mm-mm.
He's gone. He's gone 200 days out of the year.
He's doing this thing. He can't be strapped down to just one, one woman. He don't want
Yeah,
traditional marriage and all of that. So you really have to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, on what you want. Like you have to be clear. And that takes getting time to even know you. And sometimes at 30, you don't even know.
yeah,
Or it
yeah.
transitions and changes as you become older.
As you
Because
transition and change, yeah,
yeah, and certain characteristics that I wanted young, I still want. They're the core, like good morals, good values,
right,
honest, those types of characters. That's never going to go away. But then, it might be things you didn't want then that it's okay to have now. So all depends on what's important to you, as long as the core, because those are the type of things that don't change inside someone. If they have a good
yep,
heart, if they have morals and values, and they believe in God, and it's certain things that are solid with some people, the essence of that person. Then
right.
you have other traits. So you have to figure out, do you have to be 6 feet, or could you be 5'10"? You know what I mean? Do you have to have a complete flat stomach, or can it be a little squishy? Like certain things where people would say, as they get older, can you take one patient, or do you have three? You know what I mean? Where somebody might be like, I want somebody healthy, but then somebody might be on, so things do change as the person, whether it's man or woman, changes. So what they want changes. So I suggest everybody, it's streaming on, and it always is. If you haven't seen Baggage Claim in a long time, or you've never seen it, do yourself a favor and see it. Paula Patton was great in this movie,
Yeah.
and her physical comedy was awesome. She wasn't afraid to make a fool of herself. And it just, like, I couldn't picture anyone else in that role, because we spotlighted Paula Patton last week on Jumping the Broom. So we wanted to give this an opportunity to shine here, the Baggage Claim. So she had two different characters. Jumping the Broom, she was more regal and refined and bougie, or just a different type. Here she let loose. She was silly, she was fun, she was running in that dress, she was going up the elevator, running through escalator, running through the airport, in trash cans. She committed to the foolery of this movie, and everybody fell right along with it. It was a great movie. You got the final words, Leroy.
Nah, that was it. I think it was David E. Talbot did a great job of bringing his book to to the big screen. So and of course this cast, man, the cast was phenomenal. Whoever was the casting director casted it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And brought different people
Mm-hmm.
to the movie that fit each of the
Mm-hmm.
characters that
Mm-hmm.
they played in the movie. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I thought it was great. It just shows you the brilliance and the excellence that that we have and that we contain. And like I said, I want to see more of the black books, authors books, like we
Yeah,
mentioned tonight, be made into movies. I just really think that you
really will.
have that. Yeah, you have this pool that you can pull from that I
Mm-hmm.
think would make great that will make great movies. So,
Absolutely.
hopefully we'll
I
see
want
that happen.
and I want to just give us a couple trivias before we end. So this was Ned Beatty's final film role before his retirement, eventually passing 8 years later. Ned
Mm.
Beatty, he's classic movie royalty. He was the person that was there with his wife when they were talking about, I thought he's black because when they were talking about Tiger Woods, because his daddy's name is Earl and he drives an Escalade. That was Ned Beatty right there. That was cracking up at that joke that Langston didn't think was funny. Both Christina Milian and Lauren London once had a relationship with rapper Lil Wayne. Christina as his girlfriend and Lauren as his baby mama. I didn't say that. It says that here. So Lauren was his girlfriend too. They had a
Yep.
baby. Why are you going to reduce her to that?
Yeah.
Paula Patton, Lauren London, and Terrence J also starred in that movie, The Perfect Match, which was in
Yeah, that was a good
2016.
movie. That was a good
Yeah,
movie
it
too.
was. It was.
Yeah, that was a
Derek
good movie.
Luke and Taye Diggs both starred in Empire in 2015. And Jasmine Simon, she was on there a little bit, but that was her debut movie. All right.
And of
What should the
course,
people do? What should it be? And next week,
and
what are we doing? What are we spotlighting?
what did we say? What did we say we were doing?
I have my book over
Because
here.
we
I
were
got
going
to,
to start a series. We were going to start a series. I remember that. I
yeah.
just can't remember.
And I don't have it right here. Well, we're
Yeah, I
starting. I
can't
wrote
remember.
it down though, because you told me to write it down.
Yeah, but don't forget my wife was in this movie too, y'all. So y'all can
Jill,
check it out. See my wife in this movie.
and
So
she was given everything. Jill was good in this movie. She was giving Jilly from Philly a little,
I did tell her, we're gonna have to chill with the girls. You know what I'm saying? You kind of
she had them girls up.
put the girls
Yes.
out there like that. You know what I'm saying? Can't be
And
putting the
happy
girls
Black
on.
History Month. Woo! Yes, she did. Jill was something
Yeah.
else in this movie. She was good, but she's a good comedic actress too.
Yeah.
Like she
But
can
but
do
she
both.
but she has a range though. She's a
Yes, she
great
does.
actress because
She
she has a
does.
great range of how she can. I mean, she's another triple. I mean, I don't know if she's
Yeah,
not a triple threat. She's a double threat because she can act
yeah.
and she can sing. You know what I'm saying? Um,
And she
not
can
like
probably urethane furniture.
no,
Whatever.
actually, no. Well, she flows a little bit because she's a poet as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I was going to say, I'm thinking on the lines of Lauren Hill.
yeah,
Lauren Hill was a triple threat because Lauren could do hip hop. She could do the hip hop flow.
yeah,
She could act and she could sing. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But those are this is definitely one that if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. It's a great family movie too. It's something that the whole family could watch. You can pop it in at the next family event or whatever
Yeah.
you're looking for a movie to be able to play.
And you can
It's
have
great
this
to
conversation.
yeah, exactly. You can have this conversation. It gives you something to talk about and all of those things and hopefully the mamas will get that not to pressure their daughters or their sons, when it comes to,
Yep.
when you gonna give me some grandbabies and when
Yep.
you get married,
Stop
you know what I'm
pressuring
saying?
people. Stop worrying about people's insides and when they're going to do it. Allow people to do it freely when they want to. When they want to get married, when they want to have babies, when they want to get divorces, when they want to move, when they want, let them be there to guide your people. You can give your influence and you can say, your piece, but ultimately they got to decide what they're doing for their
Yeah,
life. Allow them
absolutely.
to do fly to fly.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, and comment. If this is your favorite movie, drop it in the comments, whether you're watching it live or the playback. Let us know what you think about More Than Just a Movie, MT Jams, this show, and the movie Baggage Claim. We'll see you back. This is just our time is Thursdays at 5 p.m. This is just a special time today. So come back next Thursday, 5 p.m. for More Than Just a Movie. Anything you want to say before we roll out?
That's it. Hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, share, put the comments in there because we definitely want to hear from you.
All right. Look, we said we was getting out like 3 times, but we really leaving now,
Yeah, I
y'all.
know, right? Like the Baptist preacher talking about, I'm about to close.
This is how, I mean, when me and my brother get together, like I say always, I couldn't do this show with nobody else. Like, who can I talk about these books with? Who can I talk about the movies the way that I do with? My brother right here, he already knows. This is why. This is why right here. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Remember, you're a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Until next time. God bless. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.
Did you hit the button? It's still live.
Look, it's just doing this on its own. Bye. We really trying to leave. It's a lag in the computer, so I'm gonna dance for y'all till it ends.
Yeah, great say because it's still rolling.